Miss Jamie Donelly.
Only in London, there was a London production with Tim in it, and I came from New York because I was a Broadway baby. I had been doing Broadway shows, and they said, come out, it's going to be 3 months in LA, and then you come to Broadway. I said, okay. I didn't know what the show was. I didn't know anything about it, but I came out for 3 months. Little did I know, it would open at the Roxy and be the longest running show at the Roxy. But that was nothing compared to what you guys have done all these years. What I knew was the message of the show. And I know it to this day. Don't dream it, be it. And you guys are being it! Which is just great. It's just great. You're not dreaming it. This is no dream. You're being it. It's just fantastic. So I just wanted to tell you guys a couple of little stories about what it was like back then. And then you guys can ask me questions about anything you might want to know. But I just remember back to coming out to LA and not knowing what the Rocky Horror Show was. And if you've never seen it, it's hard to tell from the script. You know, I didn't know who Magenta was. Trixie didn't even exist yet. Trixie kind of came with the Roxy. You know, in the movie it's just the lips. But when I got here, I thought they gave me these high heels that were 6 inches. I had danced on Broadway, but not in those kind of shoes. Well, no, you can't dance in those kind of shoes. I said, what do you want me to wear? And they brought out nothing. It was like a cheese string. By the end of the run, it was like, who needs this? You know, you were ready to take anything off because you were in the spirit and it was fun. So I looked at these shoes and I thought, how do I dance? I was trying to figure out, what do I do with this character? What is Rocky Horror? We had the first week of rehearsals, and at the second week, Tim Curry was coming in. I didn't know anything about Tim. I just knew he had done well in the show in London. And here I was thinking, high heels, you know, and all of a sudden in came Tim to rehearsal, you know, something like this. He came in and he sat down and he started rolling up his jeans. Rolled up the jeans, stuck his feet into those high heels, stood up and said, let's do it. Started walking up, how'd you do it? And it was like, okay, now I know what we're going to do. Something like that, and I thought, this is going to be fun, and I guess I can. If he can wear those heels, I guess I can wear those heels too. And it just working with Tim, who is still my dear friend. I've spoken to him even this week, although he's very reclusive. I guess everybody knows that. But he was a joy, and there was nothing more fun in my life than when he would turn around and say, whip it up, Jenna, baby! And I would go, clang, clang, with my cymbals, and it was just a fantastic time. And another thing I wanted to tell you, because in in those days, we didn't know that there was going to be audience participation the way that it became with the movie. But you could feel that people didn't just want to be the audience. They wanted to be the show. And I could tell that. And so, one of the ways that you could tell people wanted to be involved, I'll tell you how strange it was there at the Roxy. Was anybody here ever at the show in the Roxy? Wow, it was a long time ago. Yes, it was a long time ago. But Meatloaf was in the show. And everybody in the show was pretty wild. It was a wild time and to begin with, and we were sort of forerunners of wild behavior, and so you never knew what was going to happen. And at the beginning of the show, I don't know if you guys know this, but everybody but my character and Tim would be out in the audience wearing clear masks, as though they were ushers who would move through the audience and do strange things to the people who were in the audience. And that was the only contact with the audience at that time. But one night, the stage manager called me before I was preset to sing science fiction and said, "Trixie, look who's sitting in the front row." And I ran out to see who it was, and you never knew whether it was going to be the Rolling Stones. Were there a lot? You know, there was like an incredible audience. It was like the best party in LA. And so I was like, who is it? And I looked out, and there was, people sat at tables, because it was a club. And there was a man sitting with his date. And the Trixie that I played, I came up with that whole look, with the blonde hair and the little pink dress. And I based it on a girl who was a waitress at Tiny Nailers. That was a coffee shop on the Sunset Strip. So I got my hair like her, this wig like her, and the little pink dress like her. I looked out into the audience, and in the front row, at a table, there was a man and his date. Do you guys know what a love doll looks like? It's like a blow-up doll. It looks like a woman, it's like a balloon, and it's like a woman with a balloon, but with a big mouth, like that. And so there was a man, and his date was this love doll, dressed like Trixie. The doll had the wig, the doll had the outfit, and I looked down and I said, did he buy her a ticket? I said, yeah, that's his date, and he bought her a ticket. And I thought, that's really strange. I'm going to be out there singing to a love doll that looks like Trixie. But that's cool, you know, anything goes. But all of a sudden, Meatloaf, who was out in the audience as one of the ushers, went over and picked up this poor Trixie doll, threw it down on the runway, the one that Tim would come out to sing Sweet Transvestite on, threw it down, ripped its clothes off, and started acting like he was raping the Trixie love doll. Okay, ready for me to sing the song? You know, it was. So even though this was an audience that was not supposed to be so interactive, you could tell people wanted to be involved. And I don't mean to take credit completely, but I could tell that. And so that there was a certain point in the show where I sang something that I started getting the audience to sing along with me. And by the time we got to Broadway, because we went to Broadway with the show after we did it in LA, by the time we got to Broadway, it was a set piece in the show. They took one of the boxes in the theater, and I would go up there and I would conduct the whole audience. And it was, do you guys know the part where Magenta sings, "You're a hot dog"? So I would go, and I'm going to do this with you guys because I know you want